This is the Frugal Gardener. Welcome back to the Frugal Gardener, Gardening Over 40. I decided to skip the regular episode today because for the past couple of weeks I've been working on this, I guess you can call it a project. I see storm clouds ahead, and there's some things that I think are important for you guys to know. So I hope that you have patience and stick with me because there's a lot of information that I want to give you guys. And it's going to be important. I don't have a staff. I no longer have anybody to edit my videos and add things. So there's some things I'm going to probably end up leaving out, but hopefully I can get most of this information to you guys today. There's some storm clouds ahead. Let's put it like that. There's a good possibility that the prices of your vegetables and fruits are going to go higher this year. And there's also the possibility that the seeds are going to become a lot more expensive. And on top of that, we might end up having seed shortages. So I think home gardeners are about to experience major changes this spring and this summer. Changes in availability, variety, and cost. Now again, like I said, stick with me because you have to connect the dots. And connecting the dots, basically, you have to look at where your seeds are coming from, where your vegetables are coming from. A lot of people don't realize that most of our tomatoes, a great large portion of our tomatoes, 80 to 90%, come from Mexico. 76% of bell peppers come from Mexico. 96% of squash comes from Mexico. 80% of cucumbers comes from Mexico. So that is, it's very important because if we start having problems out in Mexico, if we do have tariffs imposed, even if we don't, that can be a problem because Mexico has been having droughts since 2022, and those droughts cause them to have to spend more money on water to grow those crops, and the prices have been increasing. I have a question. I'll just throw this out there to the group. How much do you think the seeds that we buy for our gardens have increased percentage points over the last 10 years? Like 5%, 18%, 30%? Put your comments down below. What percentage do you think seed prices have gone up in the last 10 years? So I will respond to that in the next video and tell you what the answer is to that. So I want to show you this. This is the new catalog, two of the new catalogs that I got. Even though a lot of the seeds that we get come from Mexico, and that's because obviously it's cheaper. Excuse me. We are here in the United States focused more on these hybrids. This is what I found out in my research. And the reason why they're these hybrids is because they can make more money. This is $8 for this one. Some of these are, they go into the teens. So that's one of the reasons why. But again, like I said, you connect the dots. Let's say there is a shortage of any one of those vegetables that I named. Then people are going to do what? They're going to start growing their own. When you start growing your own, then you have a possibility of a seed shortage. Something I did not know is during the pandemic, 20 million new, excuse me, 20 million first-time gardeners started gardening. That's a lot of folks. These companies, Burpees and others that sell these seeds, they get these seeds ready in advance before the season starts. They have to guesstimate. They have to guess how many seeds they're going to need. So let's say for hypothetically, again, this is another one of those connect the dots. What happens if the government starts cutting programs? If they start cutting food programs, especially if it's in the spring or towards the spring. I mean, we are a few days away from February. So spring is not that far from us. If the food programs start getting cut, we may have the same situation that we had with the pandemic. More people are going to start gardening. Well, you have to eat. So if more people are gardening, then a bunch of folks are going to start buying seeds that have not been accounted for. And that's where it comes into what I said to you in the beginning of this video. This is where it comes into availability. This is where it comes into price. This is something that I don't think is being taken into account right now. So what is the solution? The solution is what I tell you guys every year. Buy your seeds now, because you don't know what's going to happen. These companies right here, and others obviously, they contract out. I mean, well, Burpee is kind of the exception. They have places around the world, but still, they have places in the UK, in Holland, and as far away as India, where they get seeds. But again, the problem is you can't just produce them overnight. So even though they have their own facilities, they still have to get the seeds here. The other companies, a lot of those companies, they contract uh, uh, that job out. So it's not like all these seeds are going to suddenly show up. I saw on a post a couple of weeks ago where somebody mentioned there was actually a seed shortage. Well, I checked and I didn't see one here in the United States, but maybe that's just a temporary thing where they are. But even if that doesn't occur, there's still price, and the prices keep going up, which brings me back to the question I asked you guys a few minutes ago. What percentage do you think seed prices have gone up over the last 10 years? Now, everything has gone up. I don't care, like I told you guys before, this is not a political YouTube page. But I will say this. I don't care who's president. The president does not dictate to companies how much they can charge. That's can be 10 years ago, it can be 20 years in the future. The president does not dictate the price. So if these companies want to jack up the price of their vegetables, then you either pay it or you don't. I'm not talking about price gouging. I'm just talking about generally increasing their prices. So the only thing you can do to cover yourself from that is to buy your seeds. I put mine in a little plastic bag like this. This is a little lunch bag. I put them in the refrigerator. I keep them there till spring, until it's time for me to plant them. And that's pretty much what I do. So like I said, availability, variety, and cost are the three things that you're going to be looking out for. I think that we're going to be in for paying crazy prices at the farmers markets, at the in the produce areas, in the supermarkets, and for that reason, I'm going to be planting extra, and I buy seeds all year round. So that is not going to be a concern for me. But if you guys have seeds, and those seeds are put away, then you should be good to go. The last thing I wanted to mention, again, connecting the dots, the California wildfires. There's something called photosynthesis. I won't get into the whole thing. It's kind of, technical, but what it boils down to is sunlight. This is gardening over 40, so a lot of you may remember Mount St. Helens. When you have volcanic ash that basically is covering the sun, then that sun clearly is not going to reach the plants. And if it doesn't reach the plants, then it's going to affect the sun. If you have ash from the wildfires in California and you have the sun being blocked for weeks and weeks at a time, that's going to affect the harvest also. California is one of the major places that we do get tomatoes from in the United States. So that's something else to consider when you look at the possibility of the prices going up. I told you about the extreme water in an extreme climate in Mexico. So there's that you also have to take into consideration. So there it is. This is, like I said, this is not my usual. I did want to talk about sweet potatoes. I brought 4 of them, and I'll give you the whole rundown on those in the next video. But I appreciate you guys who hung in there through this whole video. I hope you understand the point I'm trying to get across to you. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how many people are going to be growing this summer. We don't know if there's going to be shortages or not. So please go out, buy your seeds now, store them. Spring will be here before you know it. I'm the Frugal Gardener. I'll catch you guys next week. And remember what I always tell you: when you buy your own food, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. Catch you guys in a few days.